Quickstart routine number 3. So routine 3 will be a little bit more like play and mobility. So I really want you to watch this first segment of the video in order to show you what it is I'm talking about. This is the axis crawl. As you can see, I'm on all fours. I'm rotating about an axis. My hands are basically staying in the same position. This is the basic level of the axis crawl. And in the next few rounds, you're going to see me perform slightly harder variations. But if this makes you dizzy, you want to stick with being on the knees and the hands. Okay, now you're seeing the crab walk. Baby steps going forward. This is a coordination drill. So oftentimes, if people have a hard time with this one, I tell them just to hold the initial position. Okay, so that's an option too. And after this, we're finishing with hops. So some people like to pretend like they're skipping. Hopping in place is an option. And again, you can pretend like you're using that skipping rope. Sometimes that's easier for people. Quick start routine number 3. 3, 2, 1, start it up. Beginning with the axis crawl. Round 1, I am performing the easiest variation. You see it on the hands and knees, rotating about an axis, really getting used to the movement before we add the intensity. And by all means, you can stick with this variation the entire time if need be. Switching directions every so often. And now into the crab walk. Again, you're going to see the easy variation here. I'm holding the position, supporting my weight on my wrists and feet. Hips are floating over the floor. You can also see I'm rocking back and forth a bit and elevating each leg, alternating, just to get accustomed to the movement and the position. The next round, you're going to see more challenging variations. And now finally, we are moving on to the hops, hopping in place. Pretending like I have a skipping rope and simply hopping on both feet. This is a great way to add a bit of cardio to the routine. It's 30 seconds per exercise. And like I said, next round you're going to see some harder variations. We're just finishing up the 30 seconds with those hops. Okay, now take a break. And we're resting for about 30 seconds to a minute, shaking out some of the tension, maybe performing a few hip circles, some neck nods, shaking out the shoulders, and getting ready for the next set. We have about 10 seconds left of our break. Couple deep breaths before we get into the next round. And 3, 2, 1, let's start it up. So in round 2, I'm floating over the floor. My knees do not touch the floor. I pretend like I'm balancing something on my back, keeping my core nice and stable. Alternating directions every so often, every 4 or 5 steps, performing that axis crawl. Make sure to breathe, stay tight, focus. If you do get dizzy, regress to the hands and knees. Now for the crab walk. Walking forward, keeping baby steps. Think shoulders down, chest up. Keep the hips high as well. This is a tremendous exercise. You should feel tension in the wrists a bit, the shoulders, the triceps, your back. It's a great lower body drill as well. When you do this in conjunction with the axis crawl, the heart rate gets nice and high as well. And we are moving on to the hops. In this round, slightly harder variation. you're going to see me perform some mini tuck jumps for 30 seconds. Again, you could always start off at a certain variation and then regress to what you were doing before if it's too much. Almost done, coming down to the 30 seconds. And for our next round, you will see even more challenging variations for the advanced people. And we're resting for about 30 seconds to a minute, shaking out some of the tension, maybe performing a few hip circles, some neck nods, shaking out the shoulders, and getting ready for the next set. We have about 10 seconds left of our break. Couple deep breaths before we get into the next round. And 3, 2, 1, let's start it up. And starting round 3. Axis crawl, slightly faster tempo. Try to do one full circle in one direction and then stop and do one full circle in the other direction. As many as you can do in 30 seconds. Still keeping your core tight. Still pretending like you're balancing something on your back, floating over the floor. Good job. That's amazing. And moving on into that crab walk. Again, slightly faster tempo. Don't injure yourself, but keep the coordination strong. Moving back and forth as many times as you can in 30 seconds. You can see I did a little leg lift there for some variety. Supporting yourself on 3 limbs instead of all 4 here. That's it. Remember, this routine is about play and experimenting on the floor. It can be a really good challenge. Last but not least, the hops. You'll see some tuck jumps here. There you go. If you can try this, go for it. It makes the entire exercise much more intense. 30 seconds of hops. That's it. Driving those knees up in the air. Almost done. Coming down to 30 seconds. And if this was not challenging enough, take one more rest period and perform one more round. Good work.